You don't make those knee-jerk decisions based on chasing a dollar.
Yep.
You make the hard choices to get better, to build infrastructure, to build structure, to build systems so that you're in it for the long haul.
Do you screen up front when you're looking at prospective franchise owners and team members for folks that embody those values, share those values? How do you look for that fit? And then, of course, you're going to enroll them into the standards and the values of the organization once you bring them onto the boat. But how do you sort of up front identify if they're just coming to try to punch a paycheck, or they're in a blue collar business and they're jumping from one to the next, and they view this as just another, in our case, moving or junk company to drive a truck and move furniture, or in your case, to another cleanup to handle.
Yeah. I part of it is the personality profiles.
Yep.
Right. Whether it's Myers-Briggs, back in the day it was Wonderlic.
Yep.
All these different profiles that you can do. You try to figure it out as much as you can from that perspective. But also it's intuition.
Yeah.
Right. When you sit down with a prospective franchise owner, you know.
Yeah.
Right. You get the feel. And you're not going to get it 100% of the time. It's just like hiring people for your team, hiring leaders. After spending a little bit of time with them, getting to know them, learning about their family, maybe where they came from, how did they grow up, you can get a pretty good feel for what they're after. Once in a while, want to get by you, but they don't last too long. Right? Because when the heat's on, when the pressure's on, they're going to reveal themselves. Character always does.
That's right.
And, they say character is what you do when nobody's looking, right? That's true.
Yeah.
Right? It's how much time are you spending in the gym?
Right.
When nobody's there. I worked with a group recently, and they had a big sports metaphor for their conference. And I said it's the reps, and I used reps as a metaphor, as an acronym, right? The R is reach for something that's beyond your grasp right now. Are you reaching for something more than you can accomplish right now today?
Yep.
That's the R. The E is expand your capacity to actually become more. Actually do the work to become a better leader, to become a better servant to others, to become a better human, right? The P is really, what can I do to change my perspective? What can I do to see? I have a friend of mine, he says, people with great perspective, they see what everybody else sees, but they understand it differently. And I think that's true of entrepreneurs. I think that's true of great leaders. They can see what the industry's doing. They can see what the competition is doing, but they understand it differently. And when you understand it differently, you don't overreact to it.
Yeah.
Right? You don't make those knee-jerk decisions based on chasing a dollar.
Yep.
You make the hard choices to get better, to build infrastructure, to build structure, to build systems so that you're in it for the long haul.
Yep.
So that you can weather what comes. And then the S in reps is really for serving the team. What can I do to serve the team today? What can I do to help my fellow franchisee? What can I do to help the people on my team? Because the other thing, going back to personal goals, when people join Hunks, when they join ServPro, they have something in mind that they're chasing.
Yeah.
And the best service that we can provide to them is to say, you can get there from here.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
You may have people that join headquarters,
right,
corporate, right? And maybe it's their dream to own a franchise.
Yep.
Well, let's help them get there.
Yeah. I heard it said yesterday, have a vision so big that other people's visions can fit within it. And that really stuck with me as well, because sometimes I think even as entrepreneurs, even myself, I find I'm not dreaming big enough or aspiring for a big enough platform to be able to create the greatest amount of impact and build that tent for where others can build their vision within that. And so that's
huge.
Aligns with a lot of what you're talking about.
And think about this. Your big goal, your gigantic, don't know how we'll ever achieve it goal, is somebody else's baseline.
Right.
Right? Somebody makes $100,000 and I'll introduce you to a millionaire. Right? Somebody makes $1 million and I'll introduce you to a billionaire.
Right.
Somebody makes $1 billion and I'll introduce you to Elon Musk. Or whoever.
That's right.
I mean, there's always another level.
Yeah.
Which is the beautiful thing about leadership and entrepreneurship and business and in life. There's always something to challenge you. There's always something more. And it's not about the dollar.
Right.
We know. I mean, at some point, you have enough.
That's right.
At some point, there's enough. More than you can spend, more than your kids can spend, more than your grandkids can spend. So now it is, what am I going to leave?
Yeah.
What's really what's going to linger when I leave this place? You know, I went through a health scare in September, and out of the blue, you know, I'm out here, I'm going, doing my thing, and I started having trouble talking. Not a great thing for somebody in my business. And everybody on my team thought I was having a stroke, thought something was going on neurologically. And long story short, in September, I ended up in the emergency room, and they diagnosed me with bullous emphysema.
Wow.
I haven't smoked in over 20 years, and the upper portion of my left lung no longer worked, and it had to be removed. On December 17th, they took out half my left lung, and it was a reality check. You know, when you're laying in a hospital room in the middle of the night and it's just you and those machines making sounds, you start thinking about, what if this is it? What if I'm 58 years old. What if this is it? Did I do enough to help other people? Did I do enough to develop other people? Did I do enough to help my kids?
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to chisel my net worth into that gravestone,
Yep.
right? What they're going to put on that gravestone is the impact that I hopefully made,
Absolutely.
right? And here's the best thing. John Maxwell said this. John Maxwell said, when we die, they will summarize your entire life in one sentence, and they'll carve it in a piece of stone. Doesn't it make sense to decide what they're going to put on that rock ahead of time?
Right.
Right? If we leave it to the people we leave behind, they'll get emotional. They'll put something stupid on there after you're gone. Right? I think it makes more sense to say, what are we going to have on that rock? And then get up every single day for the rest of our life and just chase it.
Yeah.
Chase it.
Wow.
Right? Sometimes we get wrapped around the axle, strategy, planning, and that's all important. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's really important to have a big vision and just get up every day and chase it.
Yeah.